We have the good fortune of speaking with three amazing sports creatives in the next session. First, I'm going to bring up on stage Joe Guzzi, who's the team photographer for the Miami Marlins. He's going to share his workflow with us. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how's it going, Andrew?
Good, good. And then when Joe is done, I'm going to bring on In-Sung Kim and Kevin Lyles from the Atlanta Braves as well. So Kevin, I'll call you up in just a bit. I'm going to give Joe the stage now for his workflow session. So love the sneakers, Joe.
Thanks. All right, guys, how's it going? My name is Joe. I'm the team photographer here at the Miami Marlins, going into my third season with the club and my sixth in baseball. So just going to start with a couple images from 2020 that were my favorite, at least so far for the year. Just some highlights. Of course, it came with all of its trials and tribulations too, but the team was nice enough to give me the same access that I always have. And it definitely came in handy with how historical the season was for us. But none of it would have been possible without my workflow and PhotoShelter and how it's evolved over the years. So when I was an intern with the Pittsburgh Pirates starting in 2016, a big part of my job was the archive and the workflow and how to get things going. So I've kind of been checking my workflow, so to say, for my entire career. And the story behind this is my wife actually got me this for Christmas this year. It's something that evolved as a sticky note on my laptop that said check workflow, just so I'd never miss a step in everything that I was doing. Turned into a laminated piece of plastic on my monitor, a digital sticky on my Mac, and now it's this nice little reminder that's with me every day. So going back to my time with the Pirates, a big part of it was evolving the workflow and how we got things going. So on a typical game day, we'd shoot large and small JPEGs on different cards. The small JPEGs would go to FileZilla for social media to access. It was a private server. They couldn't preview any of the images. Things were really hard to see. So if you wanted to go through a sequence, you had to check each one to see where they were in the game and kind of guess. And then post-game, we'd ingest through Photo Mechanic, tag, edit in PhotoShelter, and upload to another service that was called Extensis Portfolio. Wasn't great for a sports team. You had to search using very academic search terms. So if you wanted to search Roberto Clemente home run, you'd have to search Roberto and Clemente and home and run to find everything. And trying to teach an entire group of people from sales to creative to marketing to executives how to search that is not very easy. And on top of that, it was just difficult to find. So my boss and I essentially still function as the archive. So it was a lot of emails, texting, and just sending out images that people were looking for, and a lot of back and forth. So when I got to the Marlins in 2019, I asked, how do things work here? I got there in January. Spring training started in February, so I didn't have a lot of time to kind of make big waves and try all these big changes. I just wanted it to blend in. So as best I could, this is the workflow that I came up with there. So again, on a typical game day, I'd shoot. I would pull a card whenever I had time. If there was just a little lull in the game, I would ingest through Photo Mechanic, edit it in Lightroom, export it to a Dropbox, which had a bunch of different folders in it, categorized by game action, pre-game, any marketing things or fan things we had going on that day. And we'd hopefully invite all the right people to it. And then once the game was over, I would tag all the photos that made it to Dropbox and upload them to PhotoShelter. So it looks like a very simple and linear workflow, but it ends up looking like this. There's a lot of different folders. There's a lot of different stuff. You're trying to make sure that everyone's permissions are set up right in Dropbox, making sure you sent it to the right email, and going even before problems with Dropbox. I had to pull my card out during the game, which doesn't seem like a big deal if there's a lull, but in baseball, things happen fast, and it only happens once. So I hated taking my eye off the action and my hands off the camera. And I have a staff of freelancers too that would help me on game days. So there's difference in laptops, difference in memory cards and cameras and speeds. And with pregame and all the other stuff happening before first pitch, by the time the game starts, you're still trying to catch up on editing everything that you've already shot. So maybe by the third or fourth inning, you're finally shooting and editing the game by itself and not trying to just catch up. So that ends up really looking like this, which is, I'm sure, a nightmare that we've all probably experienced. So prior to the start of the 2020 season, I sat down and planned with my creative team, our social team, our marketing team, our communications team, all the way out to sales and partnerships, and even some of our executives. And we just tried to figure out a way that we'd be able to do this faster and more organized so photos could live in one place. So luckily, I spent the beginning of lockdown, before the pandemic hit, or as the pandemic was hitting, how to use my cameras in the best possible way and PhotoShelter in the best possible way, and how to use them together. So I came up with a PhotoShelter centric workflow. So everything would be in one place. It wouldn't be, does it live here for certain people? It all lives in the same place. So that made everyone's life a lot easier, just being able to tell everyone where these photos are. And what that ended up helping me with is a workflow that looks so simple is actually this simple, and it's actually a lot more. So this workflow means that our scoreboard team can use images for bumps in the middle of a game, for things that just happen on the field. It means creative services can grab photos to make in-game graphics on the fly. It means our social media team can get the most important moments out to our fans as quickly as possible, and they can do it from their desktops via the PhotoShelter portal, or they can do it via their phones with FileFlow, and no one has to think of where to look for their pictures. It also means all of our images can easily go anywhere else. They can go out, pending our deal with Getty, they can hit the wire. Again, they can be accessed through FileFlow, and as you just heard, they can be sent directly to Greenfly for all of our players to access after the game. And to go further into FileFlow, it also means our sales team can open up their phone and quickly send off photos to a season ticket member that just threw out the first pitch before they even get back to their seats. Our partnerships can open up their team while they're in a suite trying to make a deal with a partner and send them the photo that the diving catch that just happened right in front of their sign. And our executive assistants can take that same photo and get it printed for the office to be on display the next day. So when your team makes a postseason for the first time in 17 years, no one has to think of where to get their photos. And when they subsequently win their first postseason series in 17 years, these are able to go out everywhere they need to immediately. And again, that's just all on the game day side of it. On the back end of it, Brace Hemmelgarn from the Twins actually inspired me to make all these little custom thumbnails for our live for all of our albums, so everyone can easily spot what they're looking for. And we're actually using the new workspaces feature right now to get images picked out for our. We're gonna have some pretty big images up in the clubhouse hall or hallway, so the approval process is all going through workspaces. And with all of this, I finally have an easy answer to some of my favorite questions. When will you have those photos? Now. And how can I get them? Through FileFlow, Getty, Greenfly, or anywhere else. And the answer to the email, the text, the phone call, the socially distanced face-to-face question we're always having to answer, where are my photos? They're just in PhotoShelter. Nowhere else. It's an easy answer. And there are thousands of different ways to get the best workflow for you. I'm definitely not saying mine's the best. I'm always tweaking it. I'll probably before opening day, I'll be trying to fit something else in. But hopefully seeing how I do things here at the Marlins will at least inspire you to check your workflow. And as you'll find out with the Braves next, maybe even mix things up just a little bit.
That's excellent, Joe. Thank you so much. I'm sitting here gushing. It's amazing how you were able to really streamline your workflow so effortlessly. Well, it wasn't effortless for you, but now you're making it effortless for your broader stakeholder network. And I love hearing about the different stakeholders who can access the content, need to get it in real time in order to kind of make an impact on the job that they're supposed to be doing. Amazing.
Thank you.
And you did it lightning fast. I think you may have even shaved off 2 minutes of the segment. So expertly done. And I love the check workflow, the check workflow reminder. So we might have to manufacture those and share them with other PhotoShelter members as well.
Yeah, for sure. Just to see if you can brand them.
It's very cool. Great. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to bring on Insung and Kevin, and then they're going to have 10 minutes on the stage, and then we're going to bring Joe back, and we'll do Q&A as well. So hey guys.
Hello. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing great. I had a photo of Joe here working at a game at the Braves Stadium this season. I wanted to show everybody first before we get started.
Amazing. He's the only real person in the photo.
He is. We had a good time. So let me get on over here. There we go. You guys can see that okay?
Yes. Thank you,
One
Kevin.
second. I'm going to minimize that.
And you know what, as you're getting set up, I'm not sure, I may have just said that Kevin and Insung are from the Braves. So Kevin is the team photographer and Insung is the senior creative director. So they each bring different perspectives and play different roles in the creative process and how content is captured and then pushed out to market to engage the fans and the broader audience.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. So, you know, the way our team is set up with photographers is a little bit different from other teams. We don't have an in-house photographer, but we do have a super talented photographer that we work with. His name is Kevin D. Lyles, and you know, we're just really lucky to have him be our team photographer because he's super talented. You know, his stuff is, you know, his photographs are on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So I feel like we're not worthy, but he's slumming it by by coming out to the ballpark and shooting some baseballs. But you know, it's been a great working relationship with him. It's a true collaboration. Kevin and I are always going back and forth, talking on the phone or texting each other about some ideas. In fact, we have an inside joke that that whenever we see a photograph of a baseball player holding their bat behind their back, we will just text it. We'll just text it to each other because we never see baseball players actually do that. But you see thousands of portrait photos of players doing that, so we're just like, okay, come on, like, so it's kind of a fun inside joke that we have going on. But you know, as you'll see in this presentation, you're going to see some amazing work and just the collaboration between Kevin, the Braves creative team, the Braves social team, the Braves marketing, and just, you know, his stuff just affects everything that we do and the visual storytelling that we create. Kevin, you want to?
Thanks, Insung. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you so much for that introduction. That really means a lot. You know, love working with you guys, and Insung does some amazing work. You know, he does amazing work himself. The whole creative team does, and I love being a part of the process where we can all put our heads together and figure out the best way to tell the story or the mixing it up campaign or whatever it is. And thanks for putting that in there, Joe. But yeah, it's just a great working relationship, and you know, so glad to be a part of the team. And thank you, Andrew, for having us on here today. I've seen some of the earlier presentations, and they were outstanding. I've learned so much today. And Joe, your presentation was incredible. Your workflow, I definitely need to call you after this and get some tips from you. But I'm going to hand this back over to Insung, and he's going to go over a little bit of our workflow and, like, you know, just from a game standpoint and how we get images from me to our creative team, to PhotoShelter, to players, through Greenfly, all this. So I'm just going to hand it back to him. He's going to go over that, and then we'll go through some images and other ways that we tell stories here at the Braves.
Yeah, so Kevin is represented by the camera icon here on this diagram. So he's roaming around the ballpark either in the camera well or going to different locations for unique views, and then from there he'll take his photos, and then our social team will ask for those photos immediately so that they can be sharing those images during the game. So what he'll do is he'll transmit those photos from his camera wirelessly to his phone, and then he'll do a quick edit in like Lightroom Mobile, and then he'll make sure that the images look good. Then he'll send them out via text to our social team, the creative team, and anybody else in marketing who is asking for them. So we'll get those images like during the game. So that's where you'll see the creative team taking those images, maybe clipping them out, applying them into graphics, and then at the end of the game, we'll be posting those images, like, Braves win, and then you've got like the Acuna home run celebration image. So that's what our team does, and then the social team will take those images and they'll they'll be sharing them, and putting cool little text along with them. So those are going up that way. And then anybody else who needs them, if it's corporate partnerships, if they need them, they're getting them during the game. And then after the game, or in between homestands, Kevin will go back into his office. He'll edit the images on his computer, and then he'll upload everything onto PhotoShelter, and then that PhotoShelter becomes the hub for all the images, where everybody within the Braves organization can access them. So you'll have media relations who'll be looking for photos. Again, partnerships will be looking for those photos. And then so we have a library of images that we can always go back to. And Kevin is nice enough to tag all those photos so that it's very easy for us to find images. Now, the other really cool thing that we're doing is the social team will take those images that they get, then they'll put them up on the Greenfly where players have access, as mentioned in the previous talk. So players are getting these really cool images in addition to some of the graphics that we create, and then they're putting them up on their own social channels. So it's a really cool way to storytell and really humanize our players, because for us, that's the key, is to kind of give access to our fans, to our players that they may not see through ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever, that they're just kind of getting a behind the scenes peek into their lives.
And we've got some gifts here that that Insung and the creative team can make them throughout a game, actually, and we can get those images from PhotoShelter, where I can upload a sequence to make I'll show one of those in a second. But here is a GIF that Insung and his team created during Game 3 of the NLDS in 2019 from images that I've taken and uploaded to PhotoShelter for them. As well as doing something like this, which is a walk-off from one of the first games of last season. I'm able to get them a sequence of photos, or 20 or 30 or 50 images in a row that they can, load into Photoshop and create a GIF and have that real live content that our fans love. Without PhotoShelter, that would be impossible, because there's no way to get 50. Sometimes a GIF is 40, 50 images. To get that many images to someone quickly is dang near impossible. And that way, we've got a folder that's just called Sequences for Insung, and that's where these photos end up. And so when he's done with them, he can just trash them, and then next game we'll have more images up. And I just wanted to show you guys a few more images from, this is a still from that GIF, from this last season. And I have a couple from 2019, but most of these from 2020. It was just we all know, just an incredibly strange season. And one thing it allowed me to do was be able to shoot the game from so many different vantage points that I normally would not be able to. I can roam around the park during a normal game, but you can't be in a fan's way during the game, when fans are present. So with no fans in the park, it was just incredible to be able to showcase the game from so many different vantage points, like I said. And it also had its challenges, like this last, you can see the net. I'm shooting through the net in this photo, if you look real hard. So it also had its challenges as well. I actually went on the roof and shot several games, which I normally might shoot one game from the roof. But, since I was tier 3, so not being on the field, I was relegated to like behind the stands and up. So, we're several rows behind the net and beyond. So I shot several games from the roof, and it kind of became, I've always loved shooting elevated, but I shot a little bit more this past year than normal, and really focused on just trying to tell the story of 2020, of how strange it was having placards in the stands, and try to pay attention to those moments, like Insung was talking about with humanizing the players. Ronald Acuna Jr., one of our star players, it's just so much fun to photograph, and just has a blast, playing the game, and it's just so much fun to watch. Just a few more images showing what it was like last year, with an empty stadium. Again, here's Acuna, coming in for home. you know, it's so wild how many frames I have of just framing the empty stands to show how empty it was, you know, during the games. And this is a photo I wanted to get of, you know, of a walk-off celebration showing the socially distanced now, you know, kind of dog, not a dog pile, but just celebrating. I set up a remote camera in a place that I wouldn't be able to otherwise, you know, because there were no fans. So, you know, it's being able to do these things and also get these images to PhotoShelter that everyone can then, you know, disseminate out to wherever they need to, whether it be corporate sponsorship, corporate requests, you know, just like Joe was talking about, getting those photos to, you know, the folks who throw the ceremonial first pitch before they sit down. You know, that's also something that's vitally important to what we do. And I had to show a couple of just Marlins photos before we get out of here. These are from 2019. I think this was a win at the last minute, and then you know, walk-off celebration from Acuna. But yeah, that's in a very quick, compressed time frame. That's our workflow. That's how we get things done at the Braves. And you know, I hope that that was a little bit insightful of, you know, how the sausage is made here in Atlanta. So I'm going to hand it back over to Ensong or Andrew, and you guys can, you know, we can take questions or whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, Kevin, I just want to add, you know, we're so lucky to have a young, energetic team with so much personality, and Joe too. I mean, they've got an awesome squad down there in Florida. But you know, baseball has this had this reputation of, you know, put your head down and play the game the right way. And you know, quite honestly, that was a little bit boring. And so you've got this next generation of ball players who have so much personality, so they're not afraid to flip, you know, bat flip after a home run, or look at their teammates and, you know, raise their arms and, you know, make cool gestures. And I think that's what's going to take to bring in more fans, especially younger fans. And our jobs, I believe, is to help amplify and tell those stories and really showcase the personalities of these guys. And at the Braves, we're lucky enough to have a guy with so much personality and so much talent, and you know, and he basically does our job for us, and all we need to do is just capture his likeness of just doing a home run celebration and then put it up on social, and everyone's like, ah, that's freaking awesome. So, you know, this makes our jobs a lot easier, and we are Kevin and I are really lucky to be able to work with such amazing, talented, and energetic players.
Yeah, we're spoiled. We're definitely spoiled in that regard. I mean, these guys are so much fun. The chemistry, you know, what they bring to the game, it's just like, it's never boring. You know, it's never a boring baseball game, you know.
And if I could just add one thing, one thing that you may have noticed is just the way Kevin is able to capture the light in our ballpark. It's been amazing to see the progression of the way Kevin has evolved in the way he shoots in our ballpark, because after a couple of years, he knows exactly where to be at what time to get the exact right shadows of the players. So, you know, like this photo or the one of Mike Soroka before is just like, it's freaking gold, and I love seeing that stuff, you know. So
I was going to comment on that as well, Ensong. It was unbelievable capture of like that late afternoon light. You guys must get there in Atlanta. Well, wonderful presentation. I do want to bring Joe back really quick. I'm being told by Rachel that we're a little too short on time for live Q&A, but that we could kind of move some of the Q&A over to Slack for if the folks have questions. And that there were actually a few in the live chat section. I think folks are interested in some questions I saw around your use of photo mechanic and code replacement. There was a few questions I'm not sure if you're able to address or not about what kind of level of access you expect to get in the coming season as photographers. And I'll just to kind of put a cap on it, I want to thank you guys so much. It was amazing to get that glimpse into your workflow. I have to apologize that we got cut a little bit short because a few of the earlier sessions ran a bit too long. The one thing I will say is even in the 2020 kind of strange atmosphere, it's unbelievable how you really can't beat the actual access that a team photographer working for the team actually gets versus what you see in the media. And it speaks to, you know, just like the Miami Marlins celebration photos or the real up close and personal, like the Acuna photos that Kevin shared, unbelievable. And I'm sure that your organizations are appreciative of the way that you are creating new methods for connecting with fans and really helping them kind of achieve new business goals, and with the fact that the content is so precious and appreciated by the fans as well. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We're really very grateful.